You're listening to Real Radio, the nationally trusted name in real estate investing. We dig deep to discover investors' why in real estate. If you want to skip all the BS and get in investors' heads, you're in the right spot. Be one of the thousands to check out realradio.com.
This episode is brought to you by Entrepreneur Addict.
If you feel like marketing changes every 5 minutes, you're not wrong. You're right. And that's why we built Entrepreneur Addict. We take the chaos out and give you one simple roadmap to follow. Video that converts, local search results that rank, and content that actually connects with people. And all of this brings real results. Get started now. Get the clarity instead of the overwhelm by going to entrepreneuraddict.com/REIA now.
Welcome to Real Radio, episode 271. This is the Real Estate Rundown with Owen Dashner,
Aaron Ted Kosh, and Aiden Bear.
Hey.
All right, hot off the press. We were just talking about this before we hit the old record button. What do you got here, Teddy?
Okay, I mean, his name is tough, but the New York City mayor, Zoran Mamdani, I think I
think that's right.
You know, so they have this 34-year-old Democrat socialist mayor that just got elected, and it's all over the news right now. They're already saying that they're going to have to do $1 billion bailout for landlords in that area.
And this, I didn't know this before you told me this today. So give us the kind of like highlights or the bullet points here. So
right now there's about 213,000 publicly subsidized affordable housing units in the New York City area.
Okay, so if you're reading between the lines here, this means Section 8, government assistance, nonprofit assistance, so subsidized housing because New York is crazy expensive to live in, or at least New York City.
Now get this, right now, you can only raise your rents about 2%. There's a limit on how much you can raise rents every year.
Okay.
Now that's an issue on its own.
Why is that? Let's just give some context here.
I mean, I don't.
Okay, so insurance. What is the average cost? So you have some stats right?
I mean, that's its own thing. That's just a law for the area, right? But on top of that, they've already had pandemic non-payment going on
forever.
For years.
Yes.
Insurance costs are going up 25% a year in New York City.
Yep. So you have a lagging effect of COVID with the foreclosure and eviction moratorium where landlords are having a horrendously difficult time recovering all of the lost rent during that time frame.
And
right.
Utilities and maintenance keep on going up, as we know.
As it is everywhere.
And imagine New York City of all places.
I can't even imagine. Add a zero to wherever you live, unless you're in San Francisco.
And now they're saying that they're going to do a proposed rent freeze.
Yeah.
So that you can't raise any rents for the term of the current mayor at minimum. But
so 4 years.
4 years, but his plan is 10 years.
Yeah.
So here I am, a landlord. I have this huge building. I'm already not allowed to raise my rents over 2%, which is nothing, especially in a city like that.
Especially when your expenses are going up,
25%.
Right. Just in insurance.
Just in insurance.
Yeah.
And here you are like, nope, you can't raise your rents going forward.
So what does that mean? It means
that they're proposing a $1 billion bailout. Now, this isn't like, some right-wing group saying that they're going to do it. This is the actual, a Democrat ran program that says we're going to have to do $1 billion rescue finance program for distressed affordable housing owners. And they're going to have to let the rents, this is their terms. They're saying they're going to have to let the rents reset. They're going to have to offer more rental assistance, access the city's emergency reserves, and maybe do a shared housing provider insurance pool just to make sure that the landlords don't go out of business so all these properties aren't lost.
Okay, so reading between the lines here, and this is not a political thing, by the way. No, so this is just real-worlding being a landlord in New York City.
This is current news.
You own a property there or properties there. All of a sudden, there's no way for you to do anything. This is a business, right? So, and whether or not you're on the side of the fence where you say, well, people shouldn't own properties and rent them because there's that camp out there, right? So whether or not you're in that camp, this is a business. So you have income and you have expenses. And if you're capped on your income, but your expenses are skyrocketing, what are your options? Your options are A, do you just, get foreclosed on? I mean, that's an option, right? So you can't afford to maintain the building anymore. So what happens?
That was happening during the pandemic.
Exactly. So what happens when these things happen is deferred maintenance really skyrockets. So what makes a place nice is your amenities, your groundskeeping, your building maintenance, your paint, your carpet, your like all the stuff that makes a building, right? Mm-hmm. So all those things are going to have to get kicked down the road because you don't have income to support it anymore. right?
We talked about this in Minnesota. I think they did it around the pandemic. I remember us covering this specifically. Like, if you buy a house and renovate it, or an apartment and renovate it, you could only raise the rents. I don't even remember what it was, but it was like 5% from the last time it was rented, even if you went through a renovation. I'm like, why would I renovate it? Why would I want to make my city better?
Okay. So
same thing here.
Yep. So there's that issue, right? And look, we're just describing this. This isn't, we're not taking a hard line, although
I'm taking a hard line.
Yeah, I mean, we all own property or are interested in real estate investing. Otherwise, you wouldn't be listening to this unless you hate us, which also we would like a 5-star review.
Hit us with a bad written review, please.
Yeah. But
5 stars.
but it's one of those things where it's like, okay, you want one thing, which is affordable housing, which everybody wants, right? It seems like that's in the news all over the place. People are having a hard time making ends meet. They want affordable housing. They just want to be able to pay their bills. So they say, okay, great news for you guys. We're going to cap rents. So people that are in the renter pool, that means that they're no longer going to have to say, okay, geez, is my rent going to go up $300 or $400 or $500 or whatever it is next year? Am I going to have to move? Do I have to save money for a deposit? Do I have to, like, what does that mean for me as a renter? So they say, oh, good, sigh of relief. 2% cap, I can budget for that. That's good news, yeah? So let's say they put this into place and they say, okay, rent freeze, you know, nobody's going to be able to increase your rent. Great news for you guys. You're not going to have to move. So what does that mean for the building owner? The building owner is now going through increased costs on everything, right? Insurance being the number one thing. Taxes are probably the next highest. Maintenance, utilities, all those things are going up, right? Where is that money coming from? Let's say they are not, like independently wealthy and they just have, Scrooge McDuck money where they're swimming around in their millions, right? So they're going to have to come out of pocket for all of that, maybe, whatever. Whether or not you think that is a good idea, bad idea, whatever. Let's say there's a shortfall. Let's say you have landlords that are going to go under over this, right? So they're like, I can't afford this, literally. And now, guess what? Can they sell that building for what they could have before?
The value's down because the rents are down.
Everybody knows this, right? Yeah. So the buyer pool of those type of properties where people are living in to pay rent to live in New York City because there's opportunities there, I guess. That's why people live in New York.
Yeah.
Right. There's so, yeah, there's work, there's good. It's the land of opportunity, all that stuff. Yeah. So these people now, like you mentioned, they have $1 billion bailout for these property owners, proposed owners on the table to bail them out. Where is that money coming from?
Yeah, the emergency funds for the city. It sounds
which is coming from where?
Taxpayers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is a true socialist movement where everyone is contributing to pay for rent for people to live in New York City. Mm-hmm. Is that sustainable? That is the question. Like, what is the fallout of this? So these are real-time things that are happening when we're introducing these type of policies. And it's something that we have to grapple with as property owners.
Okay, you know what? Leave us landlords alone. And if you really think this is a great idea, go buy some properties yourself. You handle it yourself. Because you know what? Here in town, the people that come in and inspect our properties and say, oh, you know what? You got a leaky faucet and you got to fix this within 30 days or we're going to go. But yet my property is the nicest one in town, or in the neighborhood. And then you go look at your buildings and you have mold and need millions of dollars places and it's on the news.
Yeah. The point you're making is like, are government housing projects or government housing in general, that type of program, are they able to run it any better than the private sector?
Yeah, but
they're proven out. I mean, this is everywhere. Like, look at all of these places where rent control has been implemented. And yes, whatever, you can go on a soapbox about this on either side, but this is a real world thing and it's going to be subsidized by people.
Yeah. So let your city flourish. Let capitalism happen. And then, you know what, government, if you really need this, which we do, we acknowledge that this is needed, you're going to have to go create your own buildings.
Exactly.
And you're going to have to build them up. Stop taking down your whole entire community and don't let them grow, and not letting them grow and getting all this bad press. Create the buildings, create it, build it. You know what? There's a lot of people that if you weren't taking out of our pockets and coming against us, a lot of these people would probably donate their time and volunteer because they would have the extra resources.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I would love to help with a project like that. But if you keep on bringing me down, how am I supposed to grow?
Right. So anyway, very hot topic, hot off the press. This is real world stuff happening in the epicenter of our United States. Right. So it's going to be interesting to see how this all unfolds, because to your point, government housing has proven to be completely incompetent about running actual rental properties and the maintenance they provide, the amenities, all those things. If you want government housing all across the U.S., we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah,
because that's the way this seems like it's going to be tipping to, and everybody's going to be subsidizing it. All the taxpayers, even the people that don't have a lot of money, right? So they're going to be chipping in to subsidize rent for people just like this. So
you know what?
It affects everyone.
If they just built their own stuff, they probably save money instead of always subsidizing.
I don't know. They're probably going to be paying $400,000 for a toilet lid, right?
Yeah,
so
you're not wrong.
The government contracts are notoriously fraught with increased bloated costs, all that stuff. So it's like, I don't know, man. Yeah, this is a hot button for sure.
I would love to know what the conversation was, because Mamdani was in Washington and met with Trump one-on-one, and they actually did a photo shoot and everything. They said they came together on some items. I would love to know what they talked about.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
you're talking two opposite people.
Yeah. Although I would say,
but both New Yorkers.
Okay, this is. Oh man, we may get some hate for this. You ready?
Yeah,
I'm going to throw it out there. So, I would venture to say, and I'm, not to, whatever.
I'm very in the middle, but I'm definitely not a socialist.
So, if you looked at the true definition of conservative and the both sides of the aisle here, right? So, whether or not you're Democrat or Republican, if you just stripped it all down and you remove the titles from both columns, and you said, what is each party all about? Right. So generally it's,
in what decade?
Well, that's also true. But if you just stripped it all down, you remove the titles and you had no idea what was above the line here. Right. And you just said, what are we actually dealing with here? And they said, okay, you are going to be doing X for this and X for that. I think people might react differently, because I think, Republican and Democrat is a hot button on either side. Mm-hmm. Right. So if you just stripped it down to the actual issues on what's going on, and they said, okay, we can do this over here. This is going to help these people, but it's going to hurt these people. And if it hurts people over here, which may be the landlords, let's say, and that means for you as the taxpayer, you're going to have to come out of pocket to bail them out to now help these people stay in places and be able to afford rent and all those things. I'm curious to, if we just remove the labels from everything, what would that look like? Right.
Yeah.
Because everybody's so, tied to their party a lot of times in the U.S. It's just like, oh, I'm Republican, so all Democrats are bad, no matter if I believe one part of what the whole Democratic Party is about, or vice versa. Then,
you know what?
Let's just remove the labels and talk about the issues.
Yeah, you just give everybody a survey, and then you can say, check your issues, and then
exactly,
and then your issues match with the candidate that automatically has the most in line.
Yes,
it'd be probably interesting to find out which way you go.
And they actually do have that. They have those, like when you're getting ready to vote, and people are like, I haven't been following all this. What am I gonna, what do I even vote for? And then they give kind of a rundown. You can kind of pick your party according to where you're voting on certain issues, but it doesn't mean you're necessarily all aligned with everything on one side. You can be, kind of more of a centrist and say, like, I believe in, conservative, fiscally conservative, yet socially, liberal, right? Like that exists. But unfortunately, we all get lumped into one side or the other. Yeah. So,
also 15 years ago, there was two sides. Now there's almost like three sides to each party.
How do you mean?
I mean, you got, you could be a Republican, or the next level Republican's going to have these very specific beliefs, and then the level 3 is going to be like Proud Boys, and then that 1%.
Oh, the extremist sides of both.
Yeah, there's
radicals.
1% on both sides. And then you got the kind of the middle person that might be leaning a little bit heavier on very specific, like non-negotiables. And then you got like the old school people where they're lying where they were 15 years ago.
Yeah, I don't know, man. And like
15 years ago, I've always was a registered independent, but 15 years ago, I could probably say I leaned more Democrat. I know I did. And then now I can say I lean more Republican. And it's just really weird because the parties have just changed dramatically, and they both are screwed up.
Yeah, and social media certainly doesn't help because it just magnifies everything. Yeah, and the news
ruins it.
So, God. Yeah, but this is, pay attention to this, guys, because, this is a leading indicator of things like whether or not you deem this successful or a failure. It's going to be kind of the canary in the coal mine for a lot of the stuff that might be dictated with other cities around the U.S. So it's definitely a hot button topic, very divisive, but there's real world issues on both sides of the fence here. So it's
It's a good talk.
it is. I just wanted to highlight something, man. I'm kind of bummed out about a couple of things. Not necessarily that I was patronizing these businesses, but I noticed that there were two longtime staples of the community that have recently gone under or are going under.
Restaurants?
Yes. So Don and Millie's being one of them. It was long known as like an alternative to fast food.
They're just closing one location because it's being expanded. They're opening another one out west.
Are they?
Yeah, no, there's just one.
The Saddle Creek one?
That's just because that's been planned for years because that land is owned by the Med Center.
UNMC.
And
Yeah.
They're building a building.
Okay. Well, they're closing a location. I didn't know they were opening another one. So
they have one under contract in West Hill.
we'll skip that. But Voodoo Taco is closing. That's another one.
Is that all locations?
My understanding is that's the case. So I looked into it. There was like a death in the family, and then they sold the business. And then apparently the sentiment is, I was reading some social media stuff last night, and a lot of people are like, oh, that, their food really went downhill. The service wasn't good, blah, 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 all that stuff. So there's a lot of restaurants that have closed in the last year that have been kind of staples in the Omaha community. I know we're not, immune to that. It's happening around the country, but yeah, just kind of sad to see kind of like trends of businesses that are, going through cycles, and it's a lot more tough to operate now. And especially with like, now that we're talking about hot button, political and economic topics, the whole railcar system that was, put into place, $2 billion+ project that they're doing in Midtown Omaha. It's uprooted or really disrupted a lot of business flow for, places that are right around where
it's impossible to get down there.
It is. You can't find parking anywhere, and people are just like, whatever, I'll just go to a different part of town. So if you're a business owner in a spot where there's economic development happening, you got to really pay attention to like what exactly they're going to be doing. So this railcar system, they had to, basically upgrade a lot of the utility work. So they had underground stuff happening. So a lot of these streets got closed, and people are just like, screw it, I'm not going to go there and eat. I'll just go to somewhere easier. So we have businesses closing right and left around those areas. And it's been on the news all over the place about people like, we can't afford to keep our doors open. Like, what help? And then, they did, honestly, this is my take, but like the city, we've had the mayor on and so forth.
He did an ollie, a trolley.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, they're promoting this thing. Like the rail car system is going to be great because it's public transportation, but a lot of these businesses are closing. So what's better? You know what I mean? Like, is the juice worth the squeeze of doing this? And it's crippling a lot of these family owned businesses. So it's just really sad. I hate seeing this. So Midtown Omaha, if you're not from here,
and there was like private donors that put like $1 million. I'm like, there's a lot of businesses down there that $1 million ain't gonna do nothing.
No. So it's kind of a sad turn of events for something that the politics that were in place at the time. A lot of lobbyists were pushing for having this rail car system as kind of a trophy project.
And I think it's gonna be great for the city, but the landlords in those areas are paying this higher tax for that.
The dark side, dark side of this is really tough for business owners.
Like a substantial tax increase on these properties.
Yep.
But here they are, they're going to lose all their businesses because of
it. Well, they're not going to get tax revenue for a closed business. Yes. So there's a lot of ripple effects that happen with city planning. So
if you're a landlord, and
exactly,
if you're a landlord and you own that property, and you know that the businesses that down there are on the verge of closing, I mean, in my opinion, I think I'm going to have to lower my rent, whatever I can, to be able to sustain them in there, because I'd rather have something than nothing.
Yeah.
And nobody's going to move in there.
And good luck selling it. During that time, right? I mean, what's your exit plan? You're screwed. So today's golden nugget is to stay ahead of your city planning. Like especially if you're involved in commercial real estate, this is so important. You have to know the path of progress, and also what are the effects of the city infrastructure changes that are going to be happening with public transportation. Like we talked about the rail car. How is it going to affect street closures? Like, you got to really factor all that into your decision making when you're saying, oh man, this is a killer deal on a property in a part of town where there's going to be development going on, but how long is it going to last?
Yeah, but the value of those properties are going to go up so high when this is done.
Maybe. I mean, I'm just saying, and this is me, just going on a limb here, but like, is it going to be all that they are projecting it to be?
I mean, I don't remember how many billions of dollars of new developments already happening because of it.
We'll see. I don't know.
A lot of construction going on.
I don't know, man. It's a big bet they made on it. It's a big bet.
I feel very positive about it. I think it'll do really good for that area.
Okay, so for all of you business owners who are now going to be shutting down, Ted is completely against you. That's the message here.
No, I'm
kidding.
I think if there are a lot of small business owners, my heart goes out to you guys. I know that there's great food out there. I office down there for almost a decade. When I'd walk to your guys' place all the time when I was down there. I know that you guys are doing good business out there, and I hope you guys can survive, because I truly think that if you guys can get through this, and I do think the city needs to step up and help you, but I really think if you can pull through this, that you guys are going to come out so far ahead, and as soon as this is done, it's going to do wonders for your business.
Yeah, just hang on. Yeah. Hopefully it all works out. But yeah, these are real world results of small business in city progress.
Yep.
So
it is.
All right, man. Well, what do you think? Should we get out of here after the controversial episode?
Yeah, stay tuned to part 2 with Jay and Ashley. This is a fun and emotional second half, and I think you're gonna love it. Jay's probably texted me like 3 times. He goes, can you cut that? Can you cut that section out where I started crying? So let's see what that's all about. But with that, Owen, we see us out.
On behalf of Rio Radio, Aiden Bear, and Ted Kosh, I'm Owen Dashner, and you're listening to the Real Estate Rundown. Signing off.
Big Ted.
Big Ted.